Hello everyone. This video will serve as a follow-up to my previous cold orbiting video, and I'll attempt to make it a bit more structured as I go on. As well, I'll give some more details and maybe try to touch on some extra things I might have missed on the previous video. Quick disclaimer, this video isn't for complete beginners. There are some subjects that I won't touch, such as basic shipbuilding, teaching you flight assist off, things like that. So if you're watching this, I already assume that you're a bit versed in flight assist off, you've seen a Thargoid before, you built a ship before, you have your engineers unlocked, you know, all that jazz. I will be touching on the build in the video and some other things. However, in this video I'll be mostly focusing on range control, cold orbiting, using your thrusters, stuff like that. So, with that out of the way, let's get started. The ship we're using in this video is an Alliance Challenger. The build is of course also included in the description if you want to poke around with it. If you have any questions about it, feel free to ask me in the comments. And today's target is going to be a Basilisk. Main reason being is that people who just got into AX combat maybe killed their first Cyclops. Usually whatever they did to kill their first Cyclops, for the Basilisk, all of everything they did pretty much breaks down. The build doesn't work anymore, the tactics don't work anymore, and the Basilisk just completely ruins your day, to say the least. And the general consensus goes is that you need a very, very fast ship for AX. The main reason being, especially for the Basilisk, is that if an interceptor catches up to you, it will completely destroy you. It will ruin your day. Especially since it's not alone, it is accompanied by a swarm, and the Basilisk, unlike every other interceptor, goes 530 meters a second, whereas the Cyclops and the Medusa and the Hydra, they all go 450. So if you're in a slower ship, just flying in a straight line like you would do with a Cyclops just doesn't work, because the Basilisk will catch up to you and you will just be taking shots non-stop in the rear. And that just doesn't work. You'll be torn to shreds in seconds. With that being said, there are other ways to get around this issue. One being is that you use the interceptor's momentum against it, which is something you'll be seeing quite a lot of quite shortly. Second issue being is that the Basilisk does way more damage than the Cyclops, while in some ships, if you could just somewhat comfortably sit and just tank shots from the Cyclops, if you try to do the same against the Basilisk, you will find yourself either without a canopy very soon or in the rebuy screen just as quickly. So the importance of cold orbiting is double as important when you're going up against a harder variant, be it a Basilisk, a Medusa, or Hydra, everything past the Cyclops basically. So, what is cold orbiting? In a nutshell, it's keeping your ship under 20% heat while maintaining a high enough angular momentum away from the interceptor in order to just have it miss all of its shots completely. Which is exactly what medium ship pilots rely on, because you cannot tank Thargoid shots for long before your hull gives in and you meet the rebuy screen. So in this video I'm using a hotkey overlay, which you can see on the bottom left. It's not the best looking one, but hopefully it helps people understand what I'm doing a bit better. And with that being said, let's clap some Thargoid cheeks. So, as always, as soon as you drop into the instance, Thargoid will come in and try and scan you. You just let it do it, or you can just immediately shoot it, which is what I'm going to do now. And of course, because I decided to just go for the first heart immediately without taking out the swarm first, it's going to have another one banked as soon as we take care of the one that's just came out. And that's that. First heart is down, the swarm is still on us. Let's boost down, away from the interceptor. And now we can focus on taking down the swarm. Now, there's more than one way to deal with the swarm, but the easiest one is to just boost away, turn around, and flak the swarm until it's either completely done, or until you drop it to a manageable number, which is especially useful if the interceptor is enraged. As you can see, the Thargoid is still in lightning mode. It's coming right towards us, and we just use its speed against it, and kind of boost right past it, using our laterals. As you can see, even though my ship isn't that fast, we're not even breaking 500, we're still able to keep the interceptor at a very manageable distance. Remember to use your thermal vent beams to stay cool, under 20%. There we go, Thargoid is missing us. It's boosting right at us again. We made it overshoot. The swarm is also out, so I have to take care of that as well. Let's turn around again and we can take care of the swarm. Very important not to get tunnel visioned. The interceptor is closing in on us, so you can either use silent running, pop a heatsink, or use your thermal vent beams to just cool off, just in case it gets too close and starts shooting at you. Thargoid went into a reload, so we boosted right past it and gained some distance again. Let's fire up our thermal vent beams, so even if it gets back up close, we won't take any damage. Thargoid got back into range. We just thrust back and down. Now it's reloading again. And it's closing back in. And shields are down, we can go for the second heart. No panic if it's just moving away from you. Just cool off with thermal vent beams until you're in range. The ideal distance for Gauss cannons is 1.5 kilometers before you start taking fall off damage penalty. As long as you fire within that 1.5 or slightly beyond it, you will be doing maximum damage. There we go, heart is exerted. I was a bit cheap on the heat sinks there, so I took some damage. Heart is down, we're still cold, so we're going to avoid any caustics altogether. We also gain some distance, so we don't have to worry about that either. And any second now, the Thargoid will launch its third swarm. There we go, swarm is flying right towards us. We can bait it by using our lateral thrusters, moving a bit to the left and down. As you can see, the swarm has kind of a stormtrooper aim right there. And there we go, Thargoid is already on us. And we can make it overshoot. Boost right, and completely in the opposite direction from where it was going. And it actually worked so well that it's completely off of our sensors, even though we're in a much slower ship than what would usually typically be used for an AX fit. If you look at the distance, you can see it doesn't take long before the interceptor just comes right back at us. And we use our thermal beams again to cool off. A bit of roll. Down thrust, left, a bit more roll. Remember, distance is your friend. 1.5 for your guns, and over 800 so you don't take the lightning. It gains the lightning after the first heart is destroyed, and if you get too close, it will drain your shields if you have them, it will shut down your modules, and it will basically make you a sitting duck, because it pretty much stops your thrusters from working properly. And as soon as that's over, you still take effect from that, and the interceptor can just get free shots at you. A good example is what almost happened right here. However, if you thrust down and left, perpendicular to it, you can still re-establish the orbit. However, that is not recommended, and it's best that if you notice that your orbit is decaying, that you just boost away into a safe distance. Now, we did manage to get the heart down. As you saw, I used some forward thrust to keep the orbit circular enough, and balance it with a reverse thrust and down to just maintain my distance and let the target overshoot with its excess momentum. In this moment, when you just killed the heart and you gain some distance, this would be the optimal time to check on your modules, check on your module reinforcements. If you're carrying an out-of-field maintenance unit, this would be the time to repair all of your module reinforcements. They are repaired at a much higher rate. Also, synth your heat sinks. And the swarm is back at us. So is the interceptor. Sometimes the target is just too close for you to actually take advantage of its inertia. And instead of wasting a heatsink, if you're in a shieldless build or in a bi-weave, you can just toggle silent running, and it is essentially the same as being on low heat. Just be careful because you can store up too much heat, especially if you boost, and you will take some heat damage. And the interceptor's coming at us again, this time probably full speed. We can just stay cold, keep with its bore, thrust down into the side for a little bit, and we can boost in the opposite direction again. And we're getting a lot of distance fairly quickly, and we don't even need to be that fast. We actually gained so much distance that it almost fell off our sensors again. And I have no idea what happened with the swarm there, it just decided to suicide. Again, interceptor is coming at us at full speed. It's also looks like it was after a reload. And it's just shooting us. And as you can see, even without boosting, if you just go in the opposite direction as soon as it passes by you, like halfway to you, you just make it overshoot, and by the time it slows down and picks up speed again, you will be far away from it for enough time for you to do whatever you need to do. Shields are down, we can prepare for another attack run. Let's get into range. Target is reloading again. No problem, we just slow down a bit. Change our vector and start pounding at it. Again, I'm being a bit cheap on heat sinks, so I'm taking some damage. This is all doable without taking even a nick of damage from this interceptor. R is down. We can boost away from it again. And because our heat is low enough, it didn't even launch any missiles. However, we were really close there. An emphasis on close, because the last heart that is left, the interceptor will usually launch an EMP shutdown field. Still easily avoidable if you just toggle flight assist off and boost away in the opposite direction. However, you can completely avoid it by toggling silent running or just staying cold. And a new swarm is launched. We're gonna have to take care of that shortly. Interceptor is also coming very fast towards us. If you have thermal vent beams, that is a time to use them. Or hit silent running and boost away. Or just pop a heatsink if you're in a shielded build and can't afford to take damage. Here we go. Swarm is at us as well. We can try and get some sneaky flak shots, but we also have to be careful on the heat, because if we go above 20, the interceptor will start hitting us, and we don't want that. There we go. The swarm is in a very clustered formation, especially when it's close, and it's very easy to get it down to a manageable size or just destroy it altogether. And the interceptor is coming on. we just watch its engine trails carefully and try and roll to be perpendicular to it. So every time you see that it looks like it's going to be right in front of you, flying right towards you, you want to change your direction as much as you can while maintaining distance and just move away from it. Best way to do this is just to watch your engine trails and see and make sure you're flying in more like a spiral and not just in a straight line, because if you're flying in a straight line, that means your orbit decayed and the interceptor will get way too close to you, lightning you, or just get off a lot of shots at you. You'll take a lot of damage. Now the shield is down, we can take out the last heart. Heart is down. And once the heart is down, the interceptor is pretty much dead. You should still be careful if you're very low on health. If you take a lightning, you can still die. And because I was a bit too cheeky there, and my heat was up, the interceptor actually managed to launch caustic missiles. Or if you have fixed beams, you can just shoot them down. Or you can just boost away and wait till they expire on their own. They're not really a threat. As long as you can fly above 350 meters a second, you should be fine. And there we go. New last swarm is up. Once it gets in range and starts shooting us, we can just move to the side. Pop silent running because the target got a bit too close. Don't forget to turn it off or you will just keep up pulling heat even with the thermal vent beams. As you can see, the swarm is really bad at hitting anything, and it is particularly weak against shieldless builds because your hitbox is way smaller without shields, and you don't take any phasing damage, so you can avoid any damage altogether with just some minor maneuvers, using your thrusters, thrusting down and left, rolling a bit, and then using your vertical thrusters to move. There we go, Interceptors is on us again. We slow down a bit, thrust forward, let it overshoot, roll, thrust back, left. Remember to use all the thrusters you have in your disposal. Thrusting sideways and back will also accelerate you in that direction faster than if you were just to thrusting in reverse. It is crucial when you need to get distance from the interceptor without losing too much control, which is what happens when you boost. And that is that. As always, thank you for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to write them down in the comment section. I'll see you guys next time.